there's so much that's happening on this show right now. It's just gone 24 minutes before we hit 2 o'clock. I did say that BlackAce would be here. He's here. There's so much that's happening. Lights are doing funny things. People are doing funny things. People are almost falling. I get it, man, but we're gonna try and get through it. BlackAce, hello.
What's good?
How are you?
I'm nice now. Nice now.
Tell us why you are so nice.
I know. I just had to get some fresh air. Just stepped outside.
Was the air really fresh?
It was. It was.
How
it was
fresh?
Amazing. Smelled like good flowers.
Okay. Is that what I'm smelling now?
Yeah. It's a beautiful aroma.
Oh, what's that cologne called?
They call it Kush for men.
Oh, Lord. These are your people, guys. Kush for men. That's actually not a bad name. How are you? I haven't seen you in so long.
Yo, it's been a minute. The pandemic has been, it had people like just locked up. What's that word? Hermits. Like people became hermits.
Yes.
We're just in a cave. Yo.
How's it been for you though?
I won't lie, it's been crazy, especially like on the come up as an artist, because even when things open,
wow.
Hey, I'm so sorry. I don't know if I'm supposed to keep it clean.
Let me just let you know. Let me just do this for you.
Oh my God.
Your life. I want you to hear. That's my answer.
Come on, something you do. You sorry.
Okay, let's try that again.
Even when things open up, right?
Yeah.
And it's understandable as well from promoters' perspectives as well, because a lot of the times, as soon as things opened last year, even when they hit level 3 and level 1, last year what I was doing was going around Bram, all around these places, and everyone would be like, yo, we already have, the dudes with a buzz who are going to pull up and perform here, and we've been waiting for them to do that. So now that things are open, you're going to have to take a bit of a backseat. So it was a bit challenging. I won't even front in terms of like hustling. It got to a point where I actually almost forgot that I was hustling for the music, if that makes sense. Like, because even though you love the music to that extent, when you're just getting money but you can't really invest in the music the way you'd like to, you get to a point where there's a depression as an artist where you're like, you know what, let me just get this money, I'll see. That's why I even disappeared for a while, like on social media. I was just posting stuff because like I got nominated, so I was like, for the City Awards, so I was like, hey, let me just post this. Then I think about like 2 weeks ago, my brother called me. He's like, yo, you can't forget why you're doing this, because you're hustling to make sure that this works out. So the pandemic really just tested my mind as to where I'm at as an artist and as an individual, because a whole lot changed.
What was the darkest moment during the pandemic for you?
Yo, I'm kidding.
I hate BlackAce, guys. What is that?
The darkest moment. Let me see. Yeah, there were many. Okay, the darkest moment was when I think everybody knows I freestyle like every day.
Yeah.
The darkest moment was when the other time I was in studio and I was trying to write, and for the first time ever I had writer's block. But it wasn't because of any creative span or anything, like, and not to try and go too deep, but I lost a lot of family last year due to COVID. So
oh no.
Yeah, that's what happened when I was in the studio. It was really difficult to actually focus because nothing actually made sense, and also the whole point of not being able to go back to Rustenburg for most of my family's funerals was messing with me. So it was dark because my escape didn't even feel like an escape.
Right.
Yeah, sometimes I just sat in front of the mic, let the beat play for as long as it's gonna play. Then I end up just leaving, going to bed like, I'll see you tomorrow. So I don't know. I think what really rekindled it and brought some light into it is that my daughter started school this year.
Yay!
So she's been learning a lot, and even though I was going through that darkness, when I saw her, I was like, hey, you know what, this person is actually learning a whole lot, and now she calls you Papa. She actually knows who you are. So to be honest, you can't be a chump and just give up, because at the end of the day, life is unpredictable. It's the tests are meant to make you stronger. Breaking, unfortunately, some people do break, and you can't even blame them, because we all have a different threshold. But if you make it through it, then you're supposed to do something with that. So that's just what I took away from the darkness. That, you know what, I also had COVID too. Yeah. Don't worry, this was in December. Everybody's safe.
Wait, is that a guy COVID? Oh, but
I don't even know, because that's the craziest thing about COVID. You don't even know where you got it.
Okay,
you know?
So as somebody who has had COVID, and none of us in this room have had COVID, right? We can only imagine what it's actually like. What was it actually like for you?
You know what's funny? The only thing I really had was fatigue.
Yeah.
Yeah, because everything else, I was like, I wasn't coughing, I wasn't sneezing, but you still have to drink a whole lot of medication just to make sure that you get whatever it is that's in whatever the government put into the system. Let's not get to conspiracies, but yeah, I didn't really do much. The only thing though that was very different was, the only thing that tasted different was meat.
What do you mean?
I didn't lose my taste, but it tasted different.
Different how? Yonkala guys, not being able to taste meat.
No, I could taste it, but it was like, it was overwhelming. Like the salt was a lot. Figuratively speaking. And then, yeah, it was, it was just the fatigue, because I think I slept like 10 hours a day, but you're still tired after you sleep. You're like, And then eventually, after the 2 weeks of isolation, you actually feel like you're starting to get back to normal.
Right.
Yeah. Then that's when I realized that, that I was actually, really sick, but it's just that I was tired. Thankfully, I wasn't like a lot of people who still to this day have lung issues.
Yeah.
Some people say that sometimes their smell just disappears, and I'd be like, that's rough.
Were you ever like really super, super scared at any point in time?
Yes.
What was going on?
Because all I thought, I was like, I heard people just drop and die. That was very confusing, because I was like, what does this mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy, because also, a lot of the times I think we take our health for granted. Yeah. So I was just worried that, what if there's some underlying health issues that come up with this? Because that was my biggest fear. Even when I went back to the gym, when I'd get out of breath quickly, I think, is that the Rona? Is it back?
Is that the Rona? Wow. No, you just unfit. That's what that was.
Yeah. But gladly I'm getting my fitness back, hitting that jog in the morning right before the gym. And I don't know, COVID is just, it's strange, man. Apart from what it does to people physically, just psychologically and emotionally, a lot of people have just went through too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, because,
And you?
I won't lie. It's awakened, let me say, a cold side to me.
How so?
It's going to sound bad, but if it does not involve music or money, we're not hanging.
Wow, that's intense. I would have thought that it would awaken a different side. You know how people, when they go through something like that, it's like they've got this new appreciation for life kind of thing. Let's smell the roses. Let me spend more time with family. Let me spend more time with my kids. Oh, let me find love. That's generally what you assume people are going to feel like after having gone through that kind of thing.
Oh no, I'm still like that with my close circle.
Yeah.
But like if you're someone new, and this is not to be like disrespectful or anything, if you just want to link up for the sake of linking up to go get lit or whatever, to be honest, this thing made me cherish time, and I realized how much time actually gets wasted on trivial things.
Yeah.
And even when you watch a lot of the documentaries of your favorite artists and whatnot, you kind of realize that the only time these dudes were having fun or chilling was when they actually popped off. Before that, you got to really take every opportunity that comes through. So let me rather say, it's made me more socially distant, but with my inner circle, it's like I do appreciate every single body more, because I understand that time is really limited. And that's why as well I say, if it's not about money or music, don't hit me up, because in the time that I do have, I'd rather spend it with my people.
Those people.
Exactly. As opposed to, because another thing that people have been complaining about, like, we never see you in the streets. As Yanga said, I'll call Mali, there's no money right now. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to stack that paper up so we can be in the street and all that. So at this point, I'm just reevaluating a lot. And because last year I won't lie, I made a lot of money and then I spent it in stupid ways that not
Hashtag
really.
I blew it.
No, not that bad. I wouldn't say it was stupid moves. Let me rather say they weren't timed correctly.
Right.
Yeah, because sometimes what this thing also taught me is patience. Like sometimes you need to just chill and be like, you know what? Let me see what happens in like 2 weeks or a month.
Yeah.
Don't just act now because you got money. Because I think also a lot of artists also have to remember that just because you got paper now doesn't mean you should just blow it on making content. Because a lot of the times, right, artists complain about one thing, that they'll shoot a dope video, like run it up like 15 racks or even higher than that, then it doesn't go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's about the timing. Because I realized that there's really no point in shooting a dope video if you don't have a real plan for it afterwards.
100%.
Because if you're going to just drop it on YouTube, it might end up just on YouTube. And then now after spending all that budget, you don't even have budget to market or push that. So that's what this whole thing has made me redesign the way I'm making music. Even, usually by now I would have said I'm dropping something.
Right.
Yeah, but I was like, you know what? I'm rather going to focus on finding my feet and figure out an actual plan. Because I've listened to so many different artists during lockdown, and not just their new stuff.
Yeah.
Like going back to people who, let's say for instance, just for argument's sake, let me say, actually this is the perfect example right here. What Stogie T did, right? He only dropped the I Don't Know video right now.
Don't know, yes.
Now I don't know if that was his plan initially, but when I saw it, I was like, that was a very smart move, because you hit the people when there's things are relaxed.
Go go clap it.
La faye na go
Go
fana.
go patla ditsebe.
La faye.
Because wow. Actually, we're gonna do that. You got money, right? Yeah, you made lots of money last year. Any other swear that you drop here, 10 rand for each swear on the table, right here.
Yeah,
Papa.
get like
You know what? I think you need a break just to collect yourself. It's just gone 12 minutes before we hit 2 o'clock. BlackAce is here dropping things all over the show. And we've been having a very, very heavy chat just in regards to everything that's been happening in the world, how it's affected him. So we're going to lighten it up a little bit, and we're going to give you a young throwback. It is a Thursday of when BlackAce was here last time and when he stepped into the chamber. Then I'm going to play you BlackAce with Down, and then we're going to talk to him some more. I think by then he will have pulled himself towards himself. I get out.
Yes.
All right, it's just gone 4 minutes before we hit 2 o'clock. The house just got so much fuller. I see your team has grown. Last time Utlile, one man.
Yeah. Man is an island. You know what I'm
True,
saying?
but last time you were a very big island. Tell me about the addition to your team and how you went about selecting them.
Oh, no, this is West Pictures. Basically, it's also called The Us. Daddy Longstem and Marley Blue. Very two ill musicians and two ill videographers.
I know Daddy Longstem. You look different than the last time I saw you.
Yeah.
I don't know if Illy mask but you look taller as well.
Oh, exactly. You see what he said? Kingwana. A kid
What is your
changes how
point?
you look like. You know what I'm saying?
So what message are you trying to get me to get from that statement?
That, you look happier when you have a child, man.
Don't I look happy now?
Listen, this was a father figure thing. Listen, Miley can answer that question.
Oh, the baby's awake!
Yes,
Yay!
guys,
I'm gonna
there's a
be playing.
baby in
I'm gonna be
studio.
playing with the baby just now because I like babies and it's fun and stuff. All right, so shout out to Daddy Longstem in here and you as well. Yo, guys. So that side of the room, parents.
Yes.
This side of the room, not no. Ki separate so. Wafi tlalwena.
You thought they put you in the equation.
I'm so sick and tired of this team. I'm honestly so sick and tired of this team. All right, so before we played some music and stuff, we were having a very heavy and hectic conversation about Corona and some of the challenges. Let's speak about one of the happier things that happened around that time. Let's talk about finding my feet, why finding my feet, and how things have changed ever since you dropped it.
Finding my feet. Actually, that took like 2 years to make.
Okay, before we go far, what is that thing that you rappers do where you make music and then it just chills?
No.
What is that about?
You know what it's about, nah? It's like what I said about having a plan, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just after you drop a whole lot of music, right? A lot of the times you only get to, let's say, like 1,000 people who hear it. And then you get that artist depression of, damn, a lot more people should have heard it. So there's certain songs I felt like they weren't right for that time, where I was like, I'm not where I need to be for people to hear this. And also with Finding My Feet, I won't be I won't lie, a lot of it I was worried about it dropping.
Why?
Because of quite a few things that I say. Was the first time I ever, went in without any cap, where I was like, I'm just gonna be real about what exactly happens. My previous EP was Smoking Lights, before Finding My Feet came out. I remember even Sia said, he's like, yo man, you saying too much on that EP. And listen, it was just that I decided that I'm no longer gonna have a filter when I rap. Like, let it just be real, because at the end of the day, your story is your story. Only you can tell it. It is what it is. And with Finding My Feet, the process was, when I even thought of the name, it was when I was actually chilling with my daughter, and she was standing up. She was learning how to stand for the first time.
Oh, that's cute.
So when she did that, for a while, I was just looking at her. I was like, hey, you finding your feet, little homie. So I just kept on saying that to her. Then one day I was like, man, she's finding her feet, and so are you, because now you're actually starting to see who you are in this musical world. Because everybody can rap for a long time, but you get to a point where you kind of realize who you are.
Yes.
Even though you have the alias, I've had the alias BlackAce for a long time, like since high school days. So eventually finally figuring out who BlackAce was, that was Finding My Feet. And then seeing, the cool thing about kids is this: they're not bound by society's limits and logic. So a kid will fall, right, when they're learning how to walk. They'll drop, they'll cry, and then a few seconds later they're gonna do it again.
Yeah.
They just keep on doing that because they're like, yo, I'm trying to walk, because first of all, I'm tired of waking up at ShopRite not understanding
what's
how
going
I got
on.
here. You know what I'm saying? So they trying to walk around as well. And that's one thing that showed me. And I kept on seeing my daughter, because she would just drop, and then she'd just be like, you know what, I'm going back to that shelf, and I'm gonna get back up, and I'm gonna do it. And you can't tell them no, because they look at you like, yo, if you walking, why can't I?
Why can't I? All right, we're gonna hold it there. Oli is here. She's gonna give us a quick news update. No, it's the full one. She's gonna give us a full news update, and then we're gonna talk some more to BlackAce on the other side of this. It's just gone 9 minutes after 2 o'clock. I'm still hanging out with BlackAce and the whole squad. How many people are in studio right now? There are a lot of people in studio right about now, and there's a lot that's just happening. Sometimes I wish you could just keep the mics on, even off air. And I just sit here and I'm like, sure. So we just played you BlackAce with What You Know. It's one of my personal favorites. We were talking about it just now, and I listen to it when I'm in the gym as well. It gives me that feel and that vibe. So tell me, I want you to tell me about making the song. Tell me, what's the story behind the song?
Like, even the question, like in the hook, is like, what you know about moving that stash, right? What you know about getting that bag, right? So it happened one time where this is actually funny. There was a rapper.
Is it?
This is what inspired the hook. Okay.
All right.
There was a rapper who said Ace is probably funded by his parents.
Whew.
And I was like, what?
Wow.
What do you mean? You don't even know my life, dog. Just because I speak proper English, you assume that I'm not hustling. That's a dumbass assumption to make.
Go by 10 rand. I
I
knew it was going to happen, yes.
And so that's when it happened. I was like, what do you know about like actually going and hustling? Because this homie, he got a 9 to 5, and I don't look down on anybody with a 9 to 5, but with him I looked at it like, bro, if you didn't have a 9 to 5, you'd probably be at the crib. I don't have a 9 to 5. I'm not at the crib. We're not the same. So what do you really know about when you realize that even after you get a degree and an honors, your back is still against the wall, and you have to make a plan? Because when my contract ended when I was working at UJ for a little bit, right? Yeah. And then when it ended in October, so in October it was done, and that was when my daughter was born. Yeah. So I was going into 2019 like with no plan. Zagano has dried up.
Hectic.
There's no plan. But then what happened was, when I came back the following year, I pulled back, and my pops was like, yo, you got one more year of the school thing for honors, right? Right. So I killed my honors. I finished that. But then, even in that 2019 year, my dad was very real with me. He's like, listen, you got a kid now. That means you like me, you a man. So you gotta do what men do.
Right.
And I actually appreciate my dad for doing that, because it pushed me to actually understand that, yo, man, you know what? Ramilo, it's a plan. And I never sat down and just decided that you don't have a 9 to 5. I'm just going to run home and be a weekend dad. I couldn't do that.
Right.
Because I was like, I need to at least be able to see my daughter a lot of times during the week. So that led to that. That's what you know about. It's a question of, do you even know what I had to do to get here? And you out here questioning and looking at my situation without even knowing me.
Right.
We've hung out once or twice. You make an assumption based on I didn't grow up in the hood. Come on, man, that's not smart.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, it's kind of you invalidating my hustle just because I didn't grow up in the hood. And that's one thing that I never understood, that there was this weird perception where people thought to be considered as a dope rapper or a dope hustler, you only be from the hood. But that doesn't make sense, because at the end of the day, you find different calibers of people in every single place.
100%.
There's dudes who come from the hood who can't hustle. There's dudes who come from the suburbs who can hustle, who don't want to be supported by their parents, who don't want to always have to ask for something. They just go out and get it. And that's people everywhere. It's not just a set amount of people, because it's the craziest thing. I remember, like, this is just going back back home, right? I'd be talking to dudes who got on kicks that are worth 1.5, right? And this was back in high school, and then they calling me cheese boy, but my parents don't play that game. They told me straight up, you want to show over 1,000? Do you work? And at the end of the day, it just chalks it down to that it's priorities, man. At the end of the day, you want to be flashy with it. Me, I'm learning things about how to get to the next level in a different way, how to get into my own suburb. And that's what I realized as well, from actually living in a suburb with parents who were just literally trying to make it all work, because there's still pressure. Because at the end of the day, it's not that you're rich, you just live in a different location.
Yeah.
So you figure out that, okay, I see you called me cheese boy because I live in the burbs, dog. You wearing kicks that cost 1.5. You got like 3-4 pairs. If I even raise that question, it's a problem. Steven is not gonna allow that. It's going down.
All right, so that's the whole story behind what you know. Now let's speak about Finding My Feet as a whole, because you were mentioning earlier on that 2 years in the making. Yeah, let's talk about that. What's that story?
There's actually 50 songs that were made.
Wow.
Yeah, I actually checked the other day after my interview with Steve. I went to go and check out the archives, and I realized, because I thought there were only 40.
Right.
Turns out there were 50. I don't know how I missed the other 10. Yeah, so we even had last year. We even had like a all weekend session where we locked in and just went ham. We actually had a lot of those. So we just kept on making songs up until we stopped making songs last year in June.
Right.
And not even like stop making songs and like we're done. Stop making songs for Finding My Feet in June, because last year June I got to a point where I was like, yo, bro, nothing. There's what I have right now. There's nothing else I can really pour out, because or else it's just gonna sound the same. Because at the end of the day, you can only keep a theme for so long, and 50 songs, yo. So we listened to it. We listened to all the tracks. Me and my producers Exceed and Rapid. We listened to it over and over again. Even the engineer who was mixing 30, we listened to all of them, all 50. We kept going back. Then eventually the track list only came up at the end of August.
Sure.
Where we were like, okay, this is the cut. And the other songs, not
How
that.
How did you get there though? I mean, it's 11 joints, right?
Yeah.
From 50.
Yep.
And you're personally attached to each of them because you made it.
Yep.
So how do you choose between your kids, basically?
I think that comes from being able to choose. It comes from being a freestyler, because you know what's fire and you know what's aight, and you cannot lie to yourself. Even Kendrick said it, like, don't gas your homies. Not all of their tracks are fire.
Right.
Sometimes you gotta just sit back and be like, yeah. For instance, What You Know has 3 versions, all with a different hook, different subject matter, which people will never hear.
Right. So you're not gonna do a Finding My Feet Lost Files?
No, it's a deluxe edition, Mar.
Okay, it says something was coming. I could feel it in my voice.
Don't worry. It's coming.
Okay.
So it was easy, because I got like 500 verses in my phone because every day wherever I go I write. So literally, yeah, if someone tried to mug me, we're fighting. It's not happening again.
Would you rather give them the chain you got on than to give them your phone?
Yeah, they can take it because even I got robbed in 2018 and they stole my Huawei. It had verses on there which I wish I could get back.
Right.
But it's like, yo, they're gone. So even when I was getting robbed and I was lying on the ground and this homie had the gun to my head, and I looked at him and I'm like, Jokupa fool. And he just let me know, he's like, yo, I want that too. And it was a sad moment because for a week I was like, yo,
it's gone.
I didn't care about anything else because also that day I had finished selling copies of trimesters and semesters.
Mm-hmm.
I made like, I think just over $1,000 that day, and these dudes took all of that. I didn't care about that. I was like, yo, those verses though
are more valuable than the grand that you made that day.
Yo.
So you just mentioned trimesters and semesters, and I think for me, having followed your music for a bit, I can definitely tell that there's a change that has happened when I'm listening to Finding My Feet. Tell me about that, because the way that you're making music now is very different from the way that you were making music before.
So you're actually one of the reasons why that changed. I remember there's a time I sent you a joint. I sent you a joint and then you were like, how come you're more raw when you're freestyling as opposed to when you're writing?
Oh, you remember that?
Yeah. So I kept that in mind, and then I actually did do a comparison. Like whenever I'm just going off the top, or if I'm just writing just to like get something off my chest, I realized that, yo, whenever I do that, when I'm not necessarily aiming to make a song, you know, because there's people, when you aim to make the vibe doesn't come out.
Right.
You just have to let the vibe come to you. So, for instance, like even now with hooks that are on Finding My Feet, all of those hooks, even though the songs took a while to make, which was the verses, not the hooks, the hooks took like maybe 2 minutes because you hear the beat and you already feel it.
Right.
So that's what changed with the hooks. It became more about the feeling, and then you figure out the words later. As soon as I figured that out, it became smooth sailing in terms of hooks. Now, verse writing was where it had to get real, because like what you said was real. Just get whatever you have to say, get it through, and don't have no holds barred. Like don't even be scared about who'll say what, who just say what you want to say.
Yeah.
Because there's a line that I say, right, and it's on Smoke and Lights. And one of my homies was worried about it. He's like, yo, I don't know how people are gonna take this in the hip hop. And this is not me. Listen, no disrespect. It was just a line. Let's just clarify that. So the line was, if the empire is sheep, I'm the wolf ready to feast. It is bon appetit. So when I said that, this homie felt like I was saying F the big homie, and it was never that. It was just,
you can understand why he would reach that conclusion.
I got that, exactly. And I broke it down to him that, nah, dude, if you look at it from a different perspective, when he's speaking of the empire of sheep, he's talking about people who are blindly following. And that's exactly what I'm saying. I don't want to be part of the sheep. I'd rather be the wolf that's ready to go and get his kill.
Right.
And that's exactly how it was. It was like, yo, sometimes if you know what your intention was with a line, if somebody reads it differently and they want to cause some sort of controversy, that's on them. That really has nothing to do with you. You're just saying what you say and what you feel like. Because at the end of the day as well, I'm about to turn 28.
Only? Sorry.
Thank you for making me feel young.
But you are.
In this new era, they make you sound like you ancient or something. So also like with me getting older, I also realized that, yo, I think I even said in the voice note when I was speaking about with the Biggie documentary, that as I got older, I was like, man, Ace, dog, you're not like the screw kids. You a different rapper.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with being a screw. That's their element. So, and I got a different element. So I was like, you know what? We need to really amplify that element. And that's what I did. And because apart from rap, the only other thing that I do know is hustling. Mm-hmm. So that's what came into the music was, speak about what you know and just be raw about it.
Do you find yourself being a little bit more comfortable now, or was it a bit more challenging because you had not approached it in that way?
It was challenging in the beginning. Now I'm getting like, it's like when you driving a new fast car. In the beginning, you're like, hey, that 160 was a bit lit.
Whoa! Wow!
Exactly. But then after you hit that 160 a bit, like for like maybe 10 times, you're like, let me see what 180 can do.
Yeah.
So I'm getting more comfortable fully in the driver's seat. Because even now, it's finding my feet really, and all the artists who are part of making it, that's another thing I can never ever neglect, that a lot of artists influenced how I made the music. Because also during Finding My Feet, funny enough, this is a fun fact, I wasn't listening to hip hop when I was making Finding My Feet.
Were you listening to country music as well, like Biggie?
I was listening to Mapiano.
What?
Yeah, no lie, for real, guys.
Why?
I'm not even gonna. This is on camera. I was listen.
Marino Chiva, or what was happening? Just paint the picture.
So I would sit in the room, right, and I'd roll one, and the first track, I had a playlist, and Jobe was the first one. I'd always listen to Jobe. I start off with yes.
Okay.
I start off with Jobe. I'm just out there bobbing my head, going crazy. Then after that, I chill a bit. Then I go to Focalistic, bump some Focalistic, switch to Kabza. Then after that, for some reason, that's when it switched to the hip hop. Like that's when I put on the beats and I start writing. And I think more than anything, it was because of how much fun these dudes were having on the record. So that also influenced how much fun I would have when I'm writing something. Like even if you ask people at the trap, so we call it the commune, man. We call it the trap. So everybody will tell you, they're like, yo, at an awkward hour, you just hear the fire playing, and you're like, is that Ace? and yes, it's me. and I'm really jamming because those guys, they're having a good time. And that's what I wanted to emulate in my music. That even if I'm spitting some raw stuff, you still gotta bob your head and be like, yo, this is nice.
Instead of having it feel like, oh, he was really trying.
Exactly.
Here. Oh my gosh.
Exactly.
I get that.
Exactly.
I get that. All right, so there's 6 minutes to go before you leave. Yes. Kidding. No, there's 6 minutes to go, and I wanted to know from you, from Finding My Feet, the most difficult joint to pin down.
The most difficult joint to pen down, that was Come Alive.
Okay.
Yes.
Why?
I said a lot, and half the times I had to backspace because I was like, hey, saying too much. Then I'd keep writing. But yeah, it was Come Alive, and also because it was the outro. And I knew I had to do justice to the beat because rap, it spazzed on that. And I was like, yo, there's 2 transitions here. So it was hard because I had to keep the same feeling on 2 different beats. And still make sure that people still catch the feel of the whole Finding My Feet. Yeah, because it also went to like a different aspect, especially like in the second verse of Come Alive, like before the transition. I speak about going under the water, show you things you never seen. So that also is kind of certain dreams that I've had and about certain spirituality, like because Nagamukwena, so that's a crocodile. So water's my thing.
I hear you. Coming for you too.
Coming for me for what? That's my nigga. You know,
there's a big spiritual move. I literally want to say a spiritual movement, because a lot more people that were either not paying attention or didn't necessarily believe in certain things, it's like they're finding you, and it's opening your mind up, whether or not you're going to subscribe to it or not. But you're gaining a lot more knowledge and realizing really that none of us walk alone.
Exactly.
Right.
You never walk alone, because also with that, I've been in situations that didn't make sense when I got out, so I was like, nah, there's no way, that's just whatever, some sense of luck. Because at the end of the day, you can't think that your bloodline can die and then their spirit is just over.
It's just gone, right?
Yeah, because how can that kindness that was there when they're alive just disappear?
Right.
They're probably still looking over you right now when you thinking that, yo, these people are gone. And at the end of the day, ancestors are not bad, man. Those are your people. Like, stop trying to sway away from it. We're not saying, and people have a very strange misconception about it. Like, you talk to your ancestors, you're not praising them, you're speaking to them, because
you're not worshiping them,
what
like
other people
want you to think.
Like Astuana, Mudimu is basically like one old dude broke it down for me. He said Mudimu is the combination of 2 things: Mudi, which is a root, and then the mo ke motho, mudi wa motho. So that's the root of all people. So that's where badimo come in, because at that point they are closer to the root of people. They're closer to the spiritual side. You can't really do anything on the spiritual side. You're still in the flesh. You gotta holler at someone. They're the SIM card.
Right.
That's the connection.
Right.
And you can still pray to God at the same time. People keep assuming that when you say you believe Mobadimo, you no longer believe in God. Nah, fam. Those two work together.
But people don't know that. People don't know that just because, for a very long time, our ancestry was demonized, and it was like, you don't believe in that, and if you do, then you must be going against God, and you must be practicing witchcraft, and you must have evil in you. And I think the big spiritual movement that's happening now is we're opening ourselves up to getting more knowledge and making informed decisions rather than taking what people have said about it and just running with that. And I think that's dope for you. I think that's very, very dope for you. You'll move differently as well.
Exactly.
All right, so there's 2 minutes to go. I think what's going on? No, 2 minutes to go. I want to know which joint was the most fun to make and which one you're most proud of.
Most fun joint was Down with the King.
I can hear it. I love it.
That was fun.
I've been singing it all morning as well.
That was fun. And then what was the second one?
The one that you're most proud of.
The one that I am most proud of, Us versus Them. Yeah. I didn't care there. I didn't care.
We can hear it. All right, our time is done. You are still gonna rap though.
Oh yeah, shout out.
But formally, our time is done. Right. We made it through. What else do you want people to know right now?
So I got the hard copies out. That's 100 rand a pop.
Skip. I just want to put that out there. Yes.
D'Angelo vibes. Hey, yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, get the hard copy.
Okay.
$100 a copy. It's a very 80 grams of dope, man. 80 grams of dope. That's a bargain.
Just in case you don't believe him, he's showing you on the back.
Exactly. So there's that. And if you don't follow me on social media, it's at BlackAce_ZA. And right now I'm gonna be, the visuals are coming. That's the biggest thing. I need people to know that the visuals are coming. I know I've been saying to people, yo, it's coming soon. But it really is.
It really is coming soon.
And also I'm back in studio. So yeah, that deluxe edition, I can smell it, and maybe you'll smell it in like 2 months. You'll smell that it's on the way. So yeah.
2 months, eh? What month are we in? March, April, May. Birthday month. Don't be predictable.
No. It's not gonna drop then.
I'm watching you.
I'm just saying they're gonna smell that it's coming around. Then.
Oh, okay. Ace, thank you so much. The next time people are gonna hear you is when you're gonna be rapping. Just now, I don't know what the beat is. Don't ask me. I don't know. Sure. We're gonna hear it for the first time together, and let's see what you're going to do.